YouTube, it's your boy FPL man, and I'm back here with a brand new video. Today we've got so much to cover. First, we're gonna discuss the mystery chip, aka System Manager chip. Finally, we've been waiting for so long. It has been revealed. There is a bit of a mixed review from the community. Some people like it, some don't. Please do let me know what you guys think of it. I'll be explaining what it is though for those who don't understand, because there's a lot of confusion. It's a bit of a complicated chip, as well as look at predicted double and blank game weeks when to use this chip. I do think that from the face of it, it is best to use it in a double game week. But we're going to cover all of that, as well as look at my team selection and my team review from last week, as well as some transfer plans. I'm also going to be covering the best Cunha replacement, who's been really disappointing. So we have a full house action pack for this week. So let's dive in. So there we have it. Finally, what we've all been waiting for, the mystery chip, aka System Manager chip. Guys, I have to say, first and foremost, this is not what I expected. Honestly, amazing job by Fantasy Premier League. I mean, we all thought it would be something similar to UCO Fantasy, maybe a limitless chip, or maybe a double captaincy like a vice captaincy gets a point. But listen, this is completely unique. It requires so much planning. Just from the face of it, I do think it's very unique, and it does reward the engaged managers. It might be a bit more difficult for the casual managers to understand and plan and whatnot. However, this does benefit those managers who are engaged and like to plan, like myself, for example. So I do think it's quite rewarding for us. And there is so many ways to play it, which we're going to get into. First, I want to explain what it is, how it works, what are the rules and regulations around it. So to start off with, you essentially get to pick any manager in the game for 3 game weeks. So you know how you normally have a chip, for example, triple captain is for 1 game week. You have free hit, wildcard is for 1 game week. However, in this case, you have a for 3 game weeks, which makes it really powerful. The reason why which we'll get into, first of all, we have to understand this chip is not available till game week 24. And then another thing is that there is a pricing between the managers that you select. So say, for example, you got your Onslaught and Pep. They'll probably be priced around between 0.5 to 1.5 million. For example, they'll be around the higher ballpark between 1 to 1.5. I'm expecting like guys like Arteta, Pep, and Onslaught to be 1.5 million. Whereas compared to Sundash, who might be 0.5 million due to the fact that they're low in the table. At the same time, your managers such as like your Ange and Amorim, where the mid-table managers, maybe they'll be around 1 million. I'm just guessing here, guys. But you will need around 0.5 to 1.5 million for this chip to be used, which is a bit of a, I guess, a con, because we're already strict on budget as it is, because the pricing has been really good this season. Considering the fact that Haaland costs 50 million, this makes it seem that even more difficult to now have Haaland in our team, because we do need to free up 1.5 million to be able to use this chip. So I guess that could be looked at as a con. However, the point system, when we look at it, you do get 6 points for a win, 3 points for a draw, and 1 point for goal scored, as well as 2 points for clean sheets. So for example, you got your Liverpool, they were to play a Leicester and Wolves, they would be able to get 6 points for 2 points for clean sheet, that's 8 points. And then say, for example, they score 2 goals, that's another 2 points. So essentially you get 10 points within just 1 game. However, if you're using a double game week for Liverpool, say, for example, that'll be 20 points, assuming they keep clean for both games and they score at least 4 goals in both of these games. So that's quite powerful if you think about it, 20 points gain in a double game week. Another thing to note, though, there's a caveat there, is that there is a bonus. There's a risk to reward in this chip. Whereas you will get bonus 10 points on top of the 6 points if you were to pick a team that is, say, around 14th or something like that, and they were to face a top 5 team. Right now, United are 13th, and if the United were to beat the likes of Nottingham Forest or the likes of even, I guess, City or even Liverpool, then you get 10 points, because it's an upset right now. Similarly, if it's Sean Dyche's team and they're fighting relegation and they're playing against Liverpool, it's a derby, and they keep a draw, they'll get 8 points on top of the fact that they have 2 points for clean sheet. So they'll get extra 5 points plus 2 points for clean sheets. And then you have the fact that if they score a goal, that's another additional point. So there's a bit of a risk to reward to this. And then there is a limit also, which is basically, you know how you can have 3 players from each team. The manager also counts as that. So you can't have, for example, triple Liverpool and have Onslaught at the same time. You'd have to have 2 Liverpool, like, for example, Trent, Salah, and then have Onslaught. So you can't have 4 players. That's another con, I guess. You can look at that, and we've got a plan for that as well. Finally, when the chip is active, however, the first initial manager, like, you can select for free. But if you were to take that manager out within that 3 game weeks, it would cost you a free transfer. And you can't use any other chips within those 3 game weeks, because you have a triple you have the assistant manager chip activated. I hope that makes sense. I don't think I've missed anything else. I know there's a lot to cover, but this is basically just a summary of it. If you guys want to take a screenshot and go through yourself, definitely go for it. My explanation might not be the best, but at least you have this in front of you. You can go through yourself. I got this from the FPL website. So yeah, let's move on to see how it would actually look like once you have the chip activated. Once you have the chip activated, it will look something like this, where your bench is, for example, you got Areola, Pedro Porro, Estepinian, and Garnacho, and then you have the Bournemouth manager just on the left as the assistant manager. You guys can see along with your starting lineup, the likes of Isak, Wissa, Haaland, whoever you may have at the time. So that's how it would show up in your FPL app or on the website. I do think it looks really cool, and I do think it's a very good addition to the game, which will benefit the engaged managers. So now let's move on to the predicted double and blank game weeks to look at, see when to best use this chip. So here we have the predicted double and blank game weeks. This is what I gathered from Twitter, some of which have been confirmed actually. So we got the first one, double game week in 24, has been somewhat confirmed. According to Mirror Football, they are reporting that the match will potentially be likely happening in game week 24 in Feb, but that has not been confirmed 100% by the Fantasy Premier League. So that's something we're still waiting for, but I think it's almost 90% confirmed. I think the Premier League is waiting for UEFA to approve this date. But yeah, I think if this game does go ahead, I think it's a very good opportunity for those who have the triple captainship to use it on Salah. However, this is also a good opportunity for those who have already used the triple captainship to use their assistant manager chip, either on Shandaish to go for a bit of an underdog, or to go for a slot, who obviously, is a great manager. And these two fixtures, Bournemouth and Everton, even though they're away, they're a good fixture for most likely a win, although Bournemouth is a tough fixture for Onslaught, as well as Everton. I do think potentially they can come away with 2 wins. But again, it's your choice. You could obviously pick Onslaught or Shandash. Shandash is a bit more risky because you can never predict how they will do. And then you have a small blank game week in 29 due to a couple of 1 or 2 fixtures missing due to the EFL Cup final. And you have a double game week around 33 due to a free midweek, which opens up the potential for fixtures to be rescheduled to that game week. And you have a big blank game week in 34 where we're expecting up to 8 matches to be postponed. So those could be rescheduled into game week 36, where we'll have a big double game week where we are looking to use our bench boost. So now let's look at a couple of chip strategies for those who already use the triple captainship, as well as for those who haven't. So just to keep in mind, guys, this is a bit of an early chip strategy. This is nothing set in stone. We're still waiting for a lot of information. None of the doubles have been confirmed yet, 100%. So just some early thoughts for those of us who wanted to maybe tinker and plan early, because we do need to save some transfers if we want to use our assistant manager chip. And then this will be one of the ways to, I guess, start having some early thoughts. Now, if you're looking at chip strategy 1, this does require for those who have the triple captain chip. I think the best time for them to use their second wildcard would be around game week 30 to restructure their team and use their system manager chip from game week 31 to 33, which will give them a double game week in 33 as well as a 2 single game week. And then free hit in big blank game week 34, and bench boost in double game week, big double game week in 36, and then triple captain Salah potentially for double game week 24, which somewhat confirmed now. And then for chip strategy 2, for those like myself who already use the triple captain chip, maybe use that assistant manager chip around double game week 24, because you get to pick earn slot for Bournemouth, Everton, and Wolves. Really good 3 fixtures. And then you can switch to Arteta because they have West Ham in game week 26. I do think that's a completely viable strategy. However, that means you can't have 3 Arsenal. That's a bit of a downside to that strategy. But you don't have to pick Arteta. You can go to a bit more of an underdog manager like Eddie Howe or even Frank. Or you also have Shandash if you wanted to go there, because they do play United in game week 26. So that's also a potentially gamble you can take for a bit more points, because that's a big bonus points if Everton does pull up an upset versus United, which will be 10 points plus the 6 points. So that'll be a big 16-point swing. And then you look to free hit in double game week 33 and dead end to blank game week 34 and wildcard in 35 to prepare for bench boost in 36. That is my current plan, but that could change. We're still waiting for more information. So just keep in mind, guys, this is not the only 2 strategies you could go with. There are multiple strategies you can come up with. You could look to maybe use the assistant manager chip in a single game week and target for example, Emery when they have 3 good fixtures, or even Maresca when they have 3 easy fixture run, like when they're playing Leicester and Southampton, because I'm sure there will be loads of goals in that game and that will give you a lot more points. So yeah, this is not one way to play the game, guys. These are just 2 general strategies for now that I've just come up with from seeing other people's idea on Twitter, as well as myself just doing some digging. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know which side of the bracket do you fall in. Do you have your own strategy? What you think of the mystery / the assistant manager chip? Do you like it or you don't? I really look forward to seeing your comments. So let's move on to my game week 15 team review. So here we have it, guys. For my game week 15, I had a bit of a lucky game week, to say the least. I was fortunate enough to captain Palmer. I was planning to fully captain Salah due to the fact that he's been destroying my rank the last, I guess, 5 to 6 weeks. But however, the Liverpool game did get postponed, and it was a bit of a blessing in disguise, which kind of forced my hand to go on Palmer, because I did think that Palmer was the best captain on paper. Palmer came with an insane haul. And there was also a bit of a discussion about Captain Saka, but I was never going there due to the fact that Fulham, historically speaking, always gave Arsenal troubles. I also kept Mbemo. That was the plan, to be honest, to always. And I had no defense at all. Gabriel's still injured, unfortunately. And I just brought in Trent last week, as you guys saw, and he didn't play. But still, overall, I'm happy with the fact that I came away with a green arrow, ultimately with no defense. I had Burgess with an assist. I mean, they considered last minute. Again, Ipswich, man, they've been killing me with those clean sheets. Like, they could have easily held a clean sheet. For some reason, the manager they refuse to have any sort of backup centre back. So towards the last 10, 15 minutes, they consider a lot of goals and they lose the clean sheet. And then obviously Jackson disappointing. He had a shocker of a performance versus Spurs. He looked quite disappointed himself. I do need him to turn it around because Isak almost had a brace versus Brentford. And then you got Semenyo continue to disappoint, and Sanchez with 0-pointer. Absolutely shocking. I think there are a couple of deadwoods in my team that I need to address. So now let's move on to my transfer plans for game week 16. So there you have it, guys. I have made 2 moves. I've actually transferred out Sanchez and brought in Raya because Arsenal has a great fixture run, as you guys can see. They have Everton at home, Palace away, and Ipswich at home. I do think there is like easily 3 clean sheets there. Obviously, that might not be the case, but on paper, it does seem like it. And then I also brought in Enzo Fernandez for a -4 hit because I'm sick and tired of Semenyo blanking versus these bottom feeder teams. He blanked versus Ipswich. That's unacceptable. I mean, look, he had to go, and I really like the way Enzo's playing right now. He's playing the dual 10 position with Palmer, where they both complement each other. And I do think that he's much more attacking versus these easier teams. So that does increase his ceiling. As well as Chelsea attack has been the best attack in the league. They are #1 for XG, as well as #1 for most goals scored. They've scored like 35 goals in like 15 game weeks. That's insane. So I do think that I want to go full out attack on Chelsea, and their defense is not worth spending. Like, if they're averaging almost 3-4 goals a game, I do think Enzo can maybe at least get an assist or a goal a game week. I mean, if it doesn't have to every game week, but every 2 game weeks, if he gets me an assist, I'm quite happy with it. And he only cost, what, 4.9 when I got him, now 5 million. So really cheap enabler who enables me to upgrade other positions, such as you guys can see, I was able to upgrade Sanchez to Raya. So he's a great enabler. I'm happy to have him in my team. And Semenyo has been extremely disappointing. Like, come on, he had to go. And same with Sanchez. I don't think Chelsea defense is all that. So I would want to go for all out attack. Now let's look at my game week 16 team selection. So for game week 16, this is how I'm lining up with Raya at the back. Finally, I got a decent keeper. I think, look, Arsenal are a very good team, especially defensively. Even without Gabriel, they're doing really well defensively. They kept a clean sheet versus United. I mean, look, Saliba scored 2 goals in the last 2 game weeks in Gabriel's absence, and he's really becoming the beneficiary of those set pieces. And I do think that Arsenal will keep more clean sheets in the future. And Gabriel is still a doubt, unfortunately. I mean, I'm not sure what to do with him. I think when you sell him, it's a bit tough to get him back because, like, he's 6.2 now, and I did buy him for 6 million. And at the same time, it's a bit of a sideways move if I do go from Gabriel to Saliba or Timber. But I do need him to be, fine and come back soon. There was some news that he has a hamstring injury, but he recovered quite well, and they're expecting him to be available versus Everton. So let's see. I'm hoping for the best. And then you got Lewis Hall versus Leicester at home. It's a good fixture. I do think there's a potential for an attack and return. I've been saying it for a while now, but Newcastle have been very disappointing, man. Same with Lewis Hall. Like, he looks good on the eye test. However, he's not been delivering, and Newcastle just been conceding for fun. But I hope finally that he turns it around and gets me a return. Big man, you got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Fulham at home. I expect big things from him. Like, I did a lot to bring in my team. I even, bought him a couple of days early just to catch the price rise. So I think I'm expecting a big return from him. And then you got Mohamed Salah with captaincy armband. Yes, I'm going safe. Salah at home, where Fulham doesn't have Bassi as well as Anderson. They're missing 2 of their starting centre-back. And I do think all the Fulham have been strong defensively. Salah and Liverpool at Anfield, they're different beasts. And I think he probably has a bit more higher ceiling. Although on paper, you could argue Palmer has a better fixture because Brentford don't look like themselves away from home. So it's a close one this week. It's a bit of 50-50. But listen, I might lean towards Palmer come the deadline. I'm not sure yet. But for now, I'm around 55% on Salah. But we'll see what happens come the deadline. And then you have Enzo Fernandez, my boy. As you guys can see, I'm a big Argentina fan because of the jersey I'm wearing. Like, listen, I took a hit to bring him in. Like, I wish he was playing for United, but Chelsea have taken all my favorite players. What can I do? So I'm gonna triple up on their attack. Then you got Saka, Everton at home. He looked really good in the Champions League as well as last week. So I think he can do some big things, as well as he's a bit of a captaincy shout too, if you wanted to go a bit more differential. And in the forward position, you got Jackson, Brentford at home. I think that, listen, he looked really bad versus Spurs and he was disappointed with himself. And he is a bit worried about the fact that Nkunku is just knocking on the door. So he's fighting for his place. I guess that could be a good thing or bad thing, but time will tell. I do think that he will turn it around. And then João Pedro, there is a bit of a dilemma whether to start Mbeumo ahead of João Pedro. But I think I'm going to lean towards João Pedro because I think he's a bit of a big game player. Plus Palace and Brighton is a little bit of a derby. So I'm expecting him to maybe get me a return now. He has not been sensational since I brought him in. He only got 1 assist. However, he's only 5.7 million when I got him in. So can't expect too much from these budget enablers. And then finally, the trapped man. I mean, I can't believe I fell for him. Mr. Cunha, the fake Brazilian, man. This guy, I was told this guy is the next R9. What happened to him, man? He blanked the last 3 game weeks. He might be on the chopping blocks, guys, next week, which we're going to cover the next slide. But goodness gracious, blank versus West Ham. Absolutely ridiculous. West Ham were horrible. And I don't know how Wolves didn't get a pen. Man, Cunha has been really disappointing. I do need him to start, delivering. Otherwise, I might look to ship him out next week. Like, if he blanks with Ipswich, he might be gone. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this team. And let's move on to the next slide to see best Cunha replacement because he's been stinking it up. So for now, this is what I have, guys, for best Cunha replacement. I do have Isak number 1 because they have insane fixture on Leicester, Ipswich. I can't bring him in this week, guys. I don't have enough funds. I've already used my transfers for other areas. However, this is one player I would have probably ideally want. But it is what it is. I think Cunha, Ipswich, he might do something. So I want to give him one last chance. And then you have Jackson. If you don't have Jackson, I already have him. I would definitely recommend him. And then you have Chris Wood, who might be my number 1 favorite option because of his value. I think the fixtures for Newcastle and Forest are somewhat similar if you think about it, especially from game week 17 onwards. Even from game week 16, to be honest, Villa at home are not, like, Forest could definitely get 1 or 2 goals versus them. And then you have Raul Jimenez, who I did own once, but I don't think I would go back there. But if you wanted to save some money, you could go there. Fulham does have good fixtures from game week 17 onwards, but he's a bit of a rotation risk because he did get benched 2 weeks ago. But for me right now, the most favorite option is Chris Wood. And then you have Isak and Jackson. So, and you guys can see the data below. They all have good data, except I guess Chris Wood's data is not the greatest. He still does deliver in the crunch time, and I think he's insanely clutch for Forest, and he's having a sensational season. So he's my favorite by far for now. But we'll see. Maybe Isak does a madness versus Leicester, and I might have to change my plans to bring him in for next week. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is the best Cunha replacement? As I said, I think Chris Wood is my favorite. I can't believe I sold him. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to see you guys next week. Peace out.